Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have a very special review for you. The world premiere of the new for 2015 Mako USA, as you can see here on the far right. So let's get into it a little bit. The watch is the Mako USA from Orient. They're a Japanese manufacturer. For those of you that don't know, they are kind of the lesser known cousin to Seiko and Citizen. It's actually a subsidiary of Seiko Epson, as I believe, which is more of a legal thing. It's not like they're kind of an offshoot of Seiko. They were their own brand for a very long time, and through some corporate moves there have now become associated with Seiko, but they pretty much stand alone as their own entity. So here we are again talking about kind of my favorite group of watches, sports watches, specifically diver watches, and specifically blue divers. Just to recap, dive watches, we're always looking for water resistance, screw down crown, something tough, very legible, something that has a dive bezel to time your dives, and a diver extension. But I mean, these kind of fall more into the skin diver category, which is about 200 meters. So it's not really a knock against them if they don't have a dive extension. So let's jump right in. We'll talk about the model. This is the new for 2015 Mako USA. It's actually a US only model. The nomenclature is much less exciting. It is actually FEM 6500HD9, and that is for the blue model. And the retail price is actually $225 direct from the Orient USA website. I'm not sure if that price is going to fluctuate, but that is the kind of pre-order price that's out right now, and they actually should be shipping those pre-orders later this next upcoming week. I believe July 10th is what's posted. So the case size is 41.5 millimeters. It is 13 millimeters in height. It's stainless steel. The crystal is now sapphire. It normally used to be mineral crystal. As for the bezel and crown, we got, of course, unidirectional dive bezel, but now it's been upgraded. It's now 120 clicks versus the regular 60 click, so there's a lot less backplay, if any, now, which is great. It has a loomed 12 o'clock pip. The bezel insert is now more of a matte aluminum compared to the previously more glossy inserts, which I think is great. I think that was a very nice choice on their side. The movement is Orient's in-house caliber 46943. It's non-hacking, non-hand windable. Pretty much my only knock about the updated version is that it didn't get an updated movement, but kind of in this class at this price range, it is really hard to even argue, and pretty much anything is nitpicky at this point with kind of how feature rich this model has become. It has a solid case back that has the very nice etched logo on the back. It has a royal blue sunray dial, applied indices, as you can see. It has a day-date complication at 3 o'clock. It has now updated kind of the sword and spear hands, very reminiscent of the Orient Pro saturation diver. It has sporting some new Nemoto Luminova, which improves the lume greatly, as you'll see once we hit the lights here. It is water resistant to 200 meters, which I mentioned. It has brushed solid and links now, which is very nice, and of course, solid links. The bracelet has been improved. It feels a lot less tinny. It has the signed fold over push button clasp, which is very nice. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this bad boy. So basically what Orient has done is they took a great package and they made it even better. As you can see, it has, similar, now the font type is similar to the Ray, where it's bigger and bolder, and the baton indices are actually kind of reminiscent of the original Mako, as you can see right here. The baton indices are similar, but instead of the numerals, now we actually, kind of just get some larger shapes that you can just fill more loom in. And as you can see, there's that applied Orient logo, which is very nicely detailed still. And you can see that the blues are slightly different. It's a brighter blue. I mean, the blues are all actually slightly different between all these models. And then as you can see, the 12 o'clock marker is a little, it kind of reminds me of the Mako XL 12 o'clock marker, as you can see here. So that's kind of a similar take on it, which is nice. So it took a little bit of that mojo and improvement. And then probably the closest comparison here that you'll be able to see is the Ray, which I reviewed previously, and it was kind of dubbed, the winner of the battle of the entry-level auto divers. Although it wasn't the most fair comparison, because we probably should have compared it to the SKX line from Seiko. But honestly, I don't have an SKX, sadly to say, so I was never able to compare them. I might still pick one up, but I just think that honestly, at this price point, the Orient kind of has it beat hands down as far as design and specs now. But you can see it's a little, if you can tell the difference, but this was actually a much improved bracelet over the original Mako, which I now have on a NATO, and it does have the hollow end links, so it's just got the little folded end links, but still, this is a nice piece, and on its own it was a great upgrade to the Mako, and now we have an even newer upgrade. Let me just get it on the wrist here so you guys can take a closer look. So, what I think Orient has done here is they've really stepped their game up. Most of the entry level kind of watches in this segment, what you do is you buy the watch just for the head of the watch itself, and you throw it on a NATO, on a nice leather, on a rubber dive strap, and you have a great piece, for the money. And 9 out of 10 people that are not watch insiders won't know the difference. They'll just see a sweeping second hand and think, oh, that is very cool, and probably think it's more expensive than it really is. But what Orient has done is they've put, actually a lot more expensive feel into this. Now it actually has the drilled lugs, as you can see, which is nice, which I'm not sure if that's even one of their big sales points for the updated version, but people who like to switch out straps will be very happy. And it's, it's just a nice little feature. I think this is actually the nicest blue yet from the Orient Mako line. It is a lot brighter, I feel, and it just the sun ray dial, as you can see, it just catches the light a little bit more. You can see that basically the whole dial is almost lit up there, and just, there's a couple of dark swirls, but it is, it really catches that light nicely, which is nice. The previous models definitely caught it, but as you can see, it's more of a, you'll see a shimmer or a sparkle, kind of in passing. With these dials, there's more of a, oh, that catches it pretty well too. But it's more of a darker dial that kind of almost looks black in some lights, and then you kind of hit it right at the right angle, and then you see the blue come in. And that's something that's kind of been updated now. It's just more of a true blue, and that more matte bezel insert, I think, catches the light nicer as well, and I'm sure it's a little bit more durable a finish as well, since it's not glossy. You don't have to worry about that. My only thing that is kind of a drawback, I'd say, about this new model is, as you can see right there, do you see how the sapphires are just a little bit inset into the bezel, versus previously it protruded a little out of the bezel. Let me just get this to focus. You see how that has that nice little edge there that comes out, which I think actually would have been better in reverse, right? Since this is mineral and it would scratch and chip easier, you would think that you would want that to be a little more inset and protected from the watch, and then, you know, they add a sapphire crystal, and it's actually gets a little bit more protection. The only thing I worry about is, you know, dirt getting in there, or, you know, maybe now making the bezel a little bit more susceptible to wear and tear with that gap there. You know, so whatever, for whatever reason something catches in there, I wouldn't want that pulling. But the bezel has been much improved, if you can tell there. So now instead of, 5 clicks, there are 10 clicks in between every 5-minute mark. So as you can see, there's not really any back play. Is that line back up? Back to, yeah. So, still has the handy dandy day date, and this is the little day pusher here, which is also screw down. I mean, this is just it's a great piece. I have to say I'm very impressed with the fit and finish upgrades. It's definitely, I'd say it's more comparable now to a modded Seiko SKX, or maybe something from Seiko's superior line, like the Stargate or the Stargate 2, which is hacking and hand winding, which is nice, a nice feature. I'd say that's the only thing that I feel is kind of missing from this new update of the Mako, is that it doesn't have that update of in the movement. Actually, let's get a quick loom shot and hear a little comparison. All right, as you can see, the Mako XL in comparison it's the second one over from the left, not very bright. The original Mako is decently bright, but it is as you'll see, if we leave this going in the dark for much longer, it'll fade slowly. The raised grade, it actually has upgraded loom over the original Mako already, but the new Mako USA is, I'd say, even brighter, and I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but it actually seems more precise as far as the way the loom is filled into those applied indices and into the handset. They're just, I just feel like they're just a little bit sharper. It's kind of comparing HD to just regular, right? Like a Blu-ray to a regular DVD or something like that. So it's sure, the others are sharp enough. Oh wow, you can really see that Mako XL is fading. It is almost gone. And then the Mako is well on its way to fading out. But we'll leave it in the dark here for a bit, and let's get back to that as far as the segment, right? So you kind of have these entry-level sports watches that people will recommend, and one of them, a real favorite, is the Orient Mako. Slash, the kind of the whole line. So the Mako XL if you want something a little bit bigger and more modern, or the Ray if you want something, a little bit, I guess closer, kind of a little bit more stylized. The indices are a little bit reminiscent of the Rolex Submariner, and the Bracelet, has kind of a an Omega look to it with the kind of polished accents added to the 3-link kind of oyster style bracelet. So, you know, originally the Ray was kind of this step up version, was kind of, I guess you could say it's the first improved version of the Mako, and now the Mako USA kind of takes that formula and does it again and really just improves it that much more. All right, you can see they're still holding pretty well. I think you can tell that the loom pip on the Mako USA there is just looking great. So let's just turn the lights back on. Okay, and let's actually let's say goodbye to this. Let's get another look before it goes. Great Orient Mako, the kind of what all the fuss is about. If you still have one of these bad boys, don't feel bad. It is still a great purchase, and you know, if you're not crazy about loom and you just like a clean design, it's still a great watch. So pull that out of the screen. We'll also say goodbye to the Mako XL. Bigger, bolder. It actually comes with a great bracelet, but I feel like on this Hirsch leather, I mean, it's just a really great piece that kind of go with anything, go anywhere, do anything. Very versatile, kind of everyday watch. You know, or some would call their beater. You know, kind of loose in the bezel department. You know, there's a little bit of play in there, but other than that, you know, it's oops, of course I have to get it back perfectly to 12 o'clock there. Other than that, I mean, great piece, and you know, another great option still. These are still in production, and you know, just like the original Mako, and it's still a great watch. So we'll pull that guy out, and let's just move these two in here and move in for a little bit more of a close-up. Might have to zoom back a touch. There we go. And let's just get these kind of these two guys a little bit of time in the sun together. So you know, the Ray was a little bit more derivative of other designs, but it did still improve on the Mako. So now we kind of have that next iteration, which is the Mako USA, and you know, it keeps the font type from the bezel, which is more legible, but it gives it more of its own. You know, it's drawing inspiration from its own heritage. So you know, the arrow and sword hands are more reminiscent of, you know, the pro saturation divers that Orient has, which is, you know, they're a lot more high end. You know, they're in the kind of $1,000 retail range. You know, they have hacking hand windable movements, and as well as the what's it called, the power reserve indicators. So you know, that's just something a little bit more higher up on the food chain. So you know, as good as the Ray is, I'd say now, I mean, for me, there's no competition, and you know, at least not in this line, because the Mako USA is that good. But what I will do is I'll throw another challenger in, and it's not going to be a Seiko SKX. They're still great watches, but I think, you know, now comparing the Mako USA to an SKX, it's just going to blow it out of the water, frankly. And even a modded one, you add sapphire, you add a solid end link bracelet, and the price is going to be up there. I mean, at that point, you might as well, you know, maybe look into a Sumo, or you know, maybe even something Swiss once you really start getting modding going. So what I'll do is I'll put this guy here, which is the Seiko Stargate 2, which is from Seiko's Superior line, which is a step up from, you know, Seiko 5 and some regular Seiko automatics. Pretty close in spec. I mean, solid end links, drilled lugs. The only difference is, I guess you could say it's a trade-off. The crystal on the Seiko is, is their kind of proprietary Hardlux crystal, which is a mineral crystal, with some kind of amped up features to it, versus the Orient, which has a sapphire traditional, great scratch resistant crystal, except this is a Stargate 2 versus a Stargate 1, so it actually has an updated movement that has hacking and hand winding, which is a really nice feature to have. But I thought it would be nice to kind of see them next to each other running, because I do feel they're kind of similar. They actually even have kind of a similar 12 o'clock indice there, as you can see. I think it's great to see that Orient is actually stepped its game up so much. It is more comparable to some of the nicer models that Seiko has to offer. So I think that's really cool and a great leap for Orient, and they have great watches, and I think it's good to recognize that they've really stepped their game up, and they're kind of taking it to the next level. So now let's take a look, and as everybody knows that Seiko is really, really known for its loom. Apart from Swiss Superluminova, kind of everyone drools over Seiko loom for just being so bright, charges so fast, and it retains that brightness for so long. It's really has great reputation. So let's compare now the Mako USA with the Seiko Stargate 2. And as you can see, this is very close. It's hard for me to say, which is actually kind of a better, which is burning brighter. I feel like they're, and you can see it's just more of a precise, the loom pieces there, they're just very sharp and well defined as they glow there. This is great. It's a great time to be looking for a sports watch, a dive watch at that, because there's just so many great options out there that are really nice and affordable, and will kind of give you everything you need if you're not, if you're just looking purely at kind of objective reasoning. These watches will give you what you need for a really great price. So before we go, I'll just pull the Stargate out of here and put it down. Let's just get this guy here now. Kind of closing thoughts. This addition of a sapphire solid end links, the 120 click bezel, the improved loom, the design updates that really pay homage to Orient models. This is, I gotta say, is really nicely done. Can I get any closer without kind of, it doesn't want to get, okay. All right, looks like that's probably about as close as it's gonna let me get it without actually without losing focus there. So let's go out. It's just great on wrist. It's very solid as is. You don't have to change it. You don't need to buy it and kind of have an expensive strap on hold. Oh wait, is this perfect? I think one more click. There you go. Perfect. Lines up perfectly, which is very nice. It's something that even more expensive watches have trouble getting right. Look at that loom pip. That is lined up there at the 12 o'clock very nicely. So some of the model variants for the new Seiko, for the Mako, Orient Mako USA. I apologize if I said Seiko instead of Mako at any point in the video. But for the Orient Mako USA, there's two other variants. There's the black dial, black bezel, and then there's also a white dial, black bezel, which is very nice. I would have liked to have seen maybe a white dial blue bezel. I think would have been really cool. but the white dial looks really cool. I have to say, I probably, if I was gonna buy one of these watches, I probably would have went for the white dial because I kind of already have all of the other blue Makos. I thought this was a better choice for the direct comparison. So that's why I requested this model. Big shout out to Orient USA, by the way, for supplying this early so that I could get this review out there. Again, you know, the comparable models. Now you're looking at, you know, you're gonna have to get a modified SKX, you know, with some upgrades to even compare it to the new Mako USA. And you know, you probably have a better chance comparing it to the Seiko Superior line, which you'll find are a lot more expensive. I mean, not that the SKX does get expensive. I mean, just to get the Japanese model, the made in Japan model, it's going to cost you a little bit more money than some of the ones that come from Seiko factories outside of Japan. Those ones you can still get for probably around the same price as the original Mako, that kind of $150 mark. You know, I'd say the bottom line is we have a new entry-level king, and it is the Orient Mako USA. So if you like this video, you like to watch, go ahead and click like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and stay tuned for more comparisons, more reviews, and more watch talk from Average Bros Online Magazine. Thanks guys, bye.